What's up, guys? It's Matt here with Tanks Lawn Maintenance. It is currently 7:18 a.m. Friday morning, May the 23rd, 2025 year of our Lord, and it is an absolutely gorgeous morning, man. It really is. It is a little humid outside today. It's not too hot right now, man. It's 66 degrees. I'm waiting on my boys to come downstairs now. They're gonna go with me today. First thing this morning, I've got a little small bush job to do. It ain't gonna take me about 30 minutes. I'm only gonna make about 70 bucks on it. And my boys are working for free today, man. They have some stuff that they have to work off. They tore up quite a bit of things in the past 3 months, and my wife told them, you're gonna pay for that. So that's how they're gonna pay for it, man. I'm gonna take them with me to do this little small bush job. I'm gonna trim the bushes and they're gonna clean it up while I'm trimming them. And hopefully this afternoon, I've got to take my wife to have a CT scan done at noon. And hopefully they don't find anything wrong with her. Hopefully they don't find any blockages or anything like that. But we have to also have a job that I have to finish out in Appleton. A man wants me to pick up some debris and haul it off, and then a little small tea olive that needs to be cut down to about 3 foot, and all that debris get cleaned up, and then have a small mulch job, a little 1 yard mulch job that's got to get done. And if I can't get to it this afternoon, if I can't get to those this afternoon, I'm hoping there's enough time. But if not, I will get that done first thing in the morning, and then be done around 10 o'clock and come back home and enjoy this nice little holiday weekend, man. Are you guys working Monday? I'm not working Monday. Y'all working Monday? I'm just curious, man. Do you guys work on holidays? I don't work on holidays. No, sir. I don't do it, man. My full-time job that I left, we worked every single holiday except for Christmas and Thanksgiving, and all the supervisors were at home eating barbecue and everything else while we were out there busting our tails. And I decided when I left my full-time job that there would never be another holiday ever again that I will work. And I'm sticking to it. I don't work Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. Truth be told, Christmas and New Year's and Thanksgiving, I take the entire weeks off. And I also don't work Good Friday. And probably this coming up year, 2026, I'll probably take Masters Week off as well, because that's spring break in this area and traffic is just absolutely ridiculous because of the Masters golf tournament in my area. And I'm thinking about probably just from here on taking that week off as well. But we'll see. We will see, man. But anyway, guys, that's not what this video is about, man. This video, I want to talk to y'all about having employees and helpers, things like that. If you're a solo operator and you're right around that 100-yard mark, first let me say this. As a solo operator, I know starting out with the equipment you probably have, a lot of push mowers and you know, residential trimmers and blowers and things like that. You probably don't get, your name isn't out there. You probably don't get a whole lot of phone calls about doing jobs, and you don't really know what you're doing yet, and you're very slow, taking you an hour and a half, 2 hours to do a cookie cutter yard. I get all that, man. I was the same way when I first started. And you probably think that you'll never make 6 figures in a year doing this. Guys, I am here to tell you, I know from personal experience, 6 figures in a 5-day week is very obtainable. Very obtainable. It is very easy to do. It is more than obtainable. I'll put it to you like this. I work 4 days a week for the most part, and I usually put in about 8 to 9 hours a day, 4 days a week. And this is my recurring maintenance, guys, not including the extra stuff that I do. But I typically work 40 weeks out of the year for my recurring lawn maintenance customers. 4 days a week, 8 to 9 hours a day, and I'm doing it, okay? I'm doing it just on my recurring lawn maintenance stuff. If you guys are out there working 5 days a week and you're doing bush jobs, pine straw, mulch, rocks, trees, things like that, if you're doing all of that, guys, 6 figures is going to be a drop in the bucket to you. You will definitely make 6 figures as a solo operator. You just got to know your worth, know what your work is worth in your area. You've got to know what the going rate is in your area. You need to be on the higher echelon of that. You don't need to be at the bottom of the barrel on your pricing. You need to be somewhere mid to high range, preferably on the higher range as you get better at doing what you're doing. And also, you've got to know how long it's going to take you to do stuff, man, and you've got to have a set hourly rate. Once you get to where you know your numbers, you're going to lose money. That's going to happen. I say lose money. You're going to quote jobs and you're going to underbid them. That's going to happen. There's no way around that. But if you do things the right way, 9 times out of 10, you're going to win on these jobs, and you're definitely going to make 6 figures, okay? It's not hard to do. It really isn't. It's very obtainable. You don't have to kill yourself to do it as a solo operator. And for a lot of people, that is life-changing money. For probably more than half of the citizens in the United States, that is life-changing money. Just putting that out there. So don't think that you have to have help or employees to make that kind of money, because you don't. And I'm gonna tell you something about having employees. If you're on the cusp, say you've got somewhere between 80 and 120 properties, okay? If you're on the cusp of needing help because you're having so much stuff you have to do, okay? And you can't keep up with the phone calls because they're coming in left and right, and you can't keep up and do all your quotes that you need to get done, and you feel like you need help, know this before you hire help. You've got to pay your help, okay? If you're paying your help by the hour, they're going to start milking the clock. There's no way around that. Everybody I've talked to that has employees will tell you that they start milking the clock after a while. They do. That's just the nature. That's just human nature. They do it. What else? You're going to go through more gasoline. You're going to go through more oil. You're going to go through more blades. You're going to go through more weed eater string. You're going to go through more edger blades. You're going to have stuff getting tore up that wouldn't normally get tore up. You're also going to lose customers. You're also going to have to redo stuff because your helpers are not going to put out the same quality as you're putting out. You guys need to know that up front, okay? There's a lot of headache when it comes to hiring help. There really is. And if you're legit, there's paperwork that's got to be done, okay? If you're taking out taxes on your helpers, your employees, there's paperwork that's got to be done. You got to have a payroll, all that good stuff. And another thing that is important that you need to understand is your help gets paid before you get paid, okay? Your help is first and foremost on payday. You have to pay your help. 2 things will happen if you're not paying your help on time. You can get sued, and you will also gain a bad reputation in the community, not just with other helpers, but also with your customers. So think about that. Now, I say all that to say this. I had a helper last summer, and last summer I made more money than I ever made in my entire life. It was a huge blessing. Now with that money came a lot of headache and a lot of heartache. It did. My helper was great. He was. None of that heartache was his problem, was his fault. But I've went into detail about what caused all that stress and everything last summer, and I have eliminated every bit of that. Now, fast forward to 2025, spring of 2025. Same helper. About once a week, he would have stuff he had to do. He couldn't come to work. Had blades starting to get bent up. Had pulleys on my mowers, the little shear bolts starting to shear. roots getting hit, lawns starting to get scalped, tires going flat. What else? Fuel being wasted, being spilled on the ground. A lot of fuel, not just a little bit. You're gonna spill fuel, guys. There's no way around that. Especially if you have the sure cans, you're gonna spill a little bit of gasoline every now and then. But keep it to a minimum. When you have help, it's not their gas. They don't care, man. You're gonna lose a lot of fuel. You're gonna go through a ton of weed eater string. You're gonna go through a lot of edger blades. All of that, every bit of that, guys. Equipment is gonna be tore up. Primer bulbs, you're gonna have to go through a lot of primer bulbs because sometimes your helpers just don't know their own strength, man. You're gonna go through pull cords because, again, sometimes your helpers don't know their own strength. It's just the way it is, guys. And let's see, trimmer heads, they're gonna get busted. You're gonna replace trimmer heads once a month. That's the way it was with me. But the long story short is, man, these are all reasons, losing customers. You're going to lose customers, good customers. And the reason being is because your helper just don't understand. You're doing things a certain way for a certain reason. It's not just because you have found that this way works better. That's not always the reason. Sometimes you're doing things a certain way because that's what the customer has asked for, and the customer is paying extra for that. A push mow lawn. Your customer is going to get a doggone stand-on mower and do a pass or two on that lawn, not knowing that it's supposed to be a push mow lawn. Even though your customer is paying extra for it to be push mowed. Your customer's going to see that, they're going to drop you before the helper even realizes that he made a mistake. So things like that, guys, just be prepared. You've got to be prepared. You need to have plenty of money saved up. Whatever you want to buy for your business, you need to have for your business. You need to have it in place before you hire help. Simple as that. And if you're kind of on the cusp of needing help and not needing help, but you know you're going to pick up more customers, so you go ahead and hire help to get that part out of the way, get that process over with. Hope you got plenty of money saved up in your personal account, man, because you're probably going to have to take a pay cut up front so you can pay your help. Simple as that, guys. Because like I said before, that helper gets paid before the business makes a profit and before you get paid. And when it comes to a point in time where you're not getting paid, put it like this, when it comes to a point in time where the business ain't making a profit and then you can't pay yourself, that helper's got to go. Or when it comes to a point in time where you start losing customers because that helper has done something that you told him not to do, that helper's got to go, man. When it comes to a point in time where you're spending an excess amount of money on equipment and you have talked to your helper about doing things a certain way, the helper's got to go, man. Simple as that. You're going to have to make hard decisions when you have help. And you're going to have to deal with stress. You're going to have to deal with heartache. And I'm not saying all this to bash my help. I'm not, because I love the guy to death. I really do. He's a great kid. He really is, man. He just had a lot of things going on this year because he is fixing to start a career in the next 2 months. He's fixing to start a lifelong career. So there was a lot of things that were coming up that he had to do. And he had a lot more things on his mind and not the task at hand. That's going to happen. That's human nature. I'm not mad at him for that, but at the same time, had to let him go to protect my business because this is how I make my living, and my business is going to remain. It has to remain. In order for my kids and my wife to have food on the table and a bed to sleep in, my business has to be in place. So I had to do what I had to do. My helper understood. We're still buddies, still neighbors. As a matter of fact, I told him to give me a price to put a leveling kit on my truck so I can put some bigger tires on here, man. And he's checking into it right now to see what all it's going to take to do it. And he's probably going to do that for me. But just know that up front, guys. You're going to have a whole lot of heartache, a whole lot of stress, a lot of extra money that probably didn't need to be spent, but you're having to spend it anyway. And it's going to cut into a lot of your profits, guys. So know that going into it. When you hire help, you're going to have to spend more money, and you're going to have a lot more stress. So think about that before you pull the trigger on hiring somebody. But anyway, guys, I'm going to hop off here. I'm going to get this day underway. I'm hoping we can get everything done. If not, man, we'll knock it out first thing in the morning. But look, man, all you weekend warriors, I hope y'all get out there and crush it this weekend. Hope y'all get out there and grow. And the rest of you guys, I hope you enjoy your weekend. Enjoy this little 3-day weekend we're getting. And guys, please, if you're working Monday, please talk to your customers first, because you may have a customer that does not want you on their property on a holiday. So I know none of my customers do. None of my customers want me on their property. So fine with me, because I wasn't gonna be there anyway. But look, man, till the next video, y'all keep cutting that grass and keep making that money. Holla at y'all.